All right, guys, welcome back. I just want to give a brief overview today about rifle elk hunting in Arizona. I'm going to add in muzzleloader hunting. There's not a ton of muzzleloader hunts, but they are available in Arizona as well. So rifle hunting is in Arizona is it's a sprint. So we call it in Arizona the late rifle hunt. If you see that written down anywhere, or I drew a late rifle tag, that's what we call it. Well, there are two rifle tags for the most part. So an early rifle tag is a tag that there are typically no more than 30 tags available, and it's right after the archery hunt in the rut in early October. That hunt has astronomical draw odds, so you will not draw that hunt unless you're extremely lucky or you have 25 bonus points, and that includes residents as well. So residents, as a resident, it's extremely difficult to draw that early archery rifle hunt in any unit. So they offer those early rifle hunts for those guys that have been waiting their whole life for it. It's almost like drawing a desert sheep tag, to be honest with you. They also have a couple tags available for non-residents. As I've mentioned previously, 10% of total elk tags are allotted to non-residents in Arizona. So say 30 tags are available total for an early rifle tag. Only 3 of those tags are given to non-residents, and of those non-residents, 1 or 2 of those are to the top bonus point getters. So your odds of drawing a early rifle tag are extremely low as a resident or non-resident. The odds are not in your favor. And I'm going to go on in later videos. I'm really going to dive into specific draw odds from the draw information available online. I want to share that with you guys and really educate you guys understanding the actual draw odds if you have 5 points or 1 point or 0 points or whatever it is. So there is information available that I want to make freely available to you before you enter the draw and you want to hunt with a rifle. So let's get back to rifle hunting. Early rifle hunts are for the lottery winners that are extremely lucky or have 30 points that have been waiting their whole life for. Great. If you draw one of those, fantastic. I would suggest hire a guide instantly. It's not a hunt that you want to leave up to chance, and it's not as easy hunt as it seems on paper. It still is a very difficult hunt. These bulls have been chased around by archery elk hunters for the previous 2 weeks prior to that early rifle hunt. So yes, these elk are still rutting and these bulls are out moving around. They're up. You'll see them, but they've also been highly pressured. So keep that in mind. If you do happen to draw one of those tags, hire an outfitter or talk to somebody that knows a little bit of something, and then make an educated decision on how you want to go about it. But for the majority of us, we're looking at a late rifle hunt, a late rifle. So that's the only other rifle hunt. There is no other rifle hunting in Arizona. There is not a first, a second, a third. The idea that a late rifle hunt, that it gives the indication that there is a early, a midwinter type style hunt. It's not a first, second, third. It is an early rifle and it's a late. And these two hunts happen 2 months apart. So these elk are hunted a little bit in September and then at the very end of November and in early December with a rifle. So late rifle elk hunting, as I said earlier, is a sprint. There is typically in most of these elk units that offer a good amount of tags because there's a good amount of elk and there's good bulls and people want to draw them. There's going to be a ton of hunting pressure. These bulls are going to be kind of lounging the first couple days prior to the hunt and even a couple days into this hunt because they haven't been hunted for 2 months for the most part. They might have been pushed around by some late archery elk hunters in some states or in some units. They could have been pushed around by some muzzleloader hunts, again, that happened in a couple of these units. But for the most part, these bulls are very relaxed. They are in their winter grounds for the most part in more rugged country that these units have to offer. But guys, there's a lot of people that come out on these hunts. If you're a resident and you don't really know where to start, I would seriously consider putting in for a late rifle hunt and talking to a guide or outfitter. I've got links, some information below in the description, how to get a hold of me and stuff for that. I've got some information in that way. if you are a resident and you know the areas that you're hunting in, you know how it works. And if you've been a part of a buddy or a friend or family member that's hunted these late rifle elk areas, you know that for every resident rifle hunter, there will be 3 or 4 other people with that hunter. So it's kind of like, if I draw a tag, I'm going to invite my buddy, my dad, my cousin, and we're all going to try to get it done from a hunting standpoint, but also from a recovery standpoint. You kind of want people with you, both to help you kill the bull, locate a good bull, but also to try to get a bull out of somewhere that's really bad. So there is a safety consideration anytime you are elk hunting on how to recover the animal, both in a timely fashion to keep the meat, and also from just a safety standpoint, knowing that you're physically fit enough to bring an elk out of somewhere really, really bad. I guide moose in Alaska, and that's something that we talk about a lot with our DIY drop camp guys. Is I really try to interview and interrogate their physical abilities, because when you kill a moose in a bad area in Alaska, it's no joke. It can be life or death getting that thing out of there. So it's not quite the case in Arizona in elk hunting, but something to keep in mind. A big reason of hiring an outfitter or a guide for some of these hunts is specifically just to get the elk out of there. Doesn't have anything to do with your lack of hunting ability, doesn't have anything to do with your knowledge, all that kind of stuff. It's literally just to get an elk out of there. And there are a lot of guys that offer just elk recovery. I mean, in some of these units, there's some horseback guys, and I have some buddies that just do that. That's all they do, is just go in and recover elk for people. So something to consider as well. But getting back to what to expect on a late rifle elk hunt. Expect hunting pressure, expect to see bulls, especially the first couple days of the hunt. You really need to get in here, get into the unit if you do draw a late rifle tag a couple days prior to your hunt. This is something that I see every single year in these late rifle zones, is nobody shows up to scout or to hunt until the day before the hunt. And on the day the hunt starts, on the morning hunt, everybody's just going crazy and listening to gunshots and trying to find these elk and expecting there to be elk everywhere because it's Arizona. That's not the case. You really want to get an area dialed in before you go hunting, because although it is a 7-day hunt, the first 3 days of the hunt are your best chance to actually kill a bull. With the amount of hunting pressure, and it could be some weather, but the hunting pressure will push these bulls into these areas that are like, you just won't see them. They'll get in this timber that's really, really thick. So really, when it's a 7-day hunt, in my mind, I always think it's a 3-day hunt, because you need to be in there 3 days before the hunt, find an area, find some elk that are in a spot where you think you can get to opening morning without a ton of other hunting pressure. Obviously, there's no way to truly predict that. We can't control what other people do. And it's just something you can kind of get an idea of where people are going to come in from, and especially if you've been in the unit before. But understand, hunting pressure is your biggest your biggest adversity in elk hunting, along with potentially very cold weather. It can snow several feet in a lot of these elk units in this winter hunt, late rifle hunt, which can prevent transportation. It can prevent elk movement. It can basically prevent your hunt from even happening. So that's something to keep in mind. But realistically, if you're going in to an elk hunt, really do your research, do your homework, try to scout, start by e-scouting. And I will tell you that in any of these units, so whether it's unit 8, 9, 10, 22, 6A, 3B, 3C, 4 or 5, all these units have really a good potential to shoot a big bull, but it's really hard to do that without you actually getting into their scouting, or have scouting done for you with actually boots on the ground, getting understanding of actually where these elk are and where they're moving to. So I don't want to scare you from rifle hunting, but I do want to emphasize that there is a lot of pressure on these hunts, because there is big bulls. There's 320 plus bulls in every single unit that Arizona has, up to, way bigger than that. But in every unit, I don't care what unit you're looking at, there are 320 plus bulls in any season of any unit. There's going to be a lot of hunting pressure, both from guides, outfitters, residents, non-residents, everybody bringing their friends. What's kind of funny to me is a lot of people will complain about guides or whatever and outfitters having too many people and all this kind of stuff. What I see specifically is like some of my guided clients, we're only like a 2-person crew. So one of my clients will go out with a guide, or I'll take a client. We're only a 2-man crew, sometimes 3. When you get some of these people that they come in from all over the place, non-residents or residents, they have got 6 people with them all over the ridges and all over the knobs. So it's almost, I think it's a fair between residents and non-residents to bring everybody and their neighbor on their hunts, and guides, outfitters. There's a lot of hunting pressure. And being with the right people, whether it's your buddies that have been there before, or friends, family that you can trust, that could physically take out an elk with you, or a guide and outfitter that it does their homework, and is really invested in you being successful and having a good hunt. I think it's important. Elk hunting should be done with people. I think it's a family, friends, guided type deal. And guide camps can be that way too. So in our guide camps, we have a lot of family come in. One guy draws a tag and he brings his brother, dad. It's not always just a single person. So I specifically like my camps, my outfitted camps, guided camps, whatever, to invite family and friends, because that's really what hunting is all about at the end of the day. And the nice thing is you're going to invite your family and friends. You don't have to worry about cooking for them if you're, going on a guided hunt. You can just sit back and do the fun thing, which is hunting. Worry about everybody else setting up camp and cooking and doing all that stuff. So, but that's just rifle hunting. I think it's a joint affair, whether it's you're doing it separately. Solo hunting is tough. It really is. And you're going to have to do a lot of homework if you're going to be a solo hunter in some of these late rifle elk areas, and be physically fit, and get as much information as possible prior to your hunt. So in these upcoming videos, guys, too, I'm going to talk unit specific, what to expect on a rifle hunt versus, it's not always the same archery and rifle. The bulls don't stay in the same areas in these hunts. So what to expect from these rifle units, unit by unit. Some areas that I particularly would focus on if I drew these tags. And so I really want to educate you guys. And just a side note, we'll talk muzzleloader for a second. There are several muzzleloader hunts that happen prior to the rifle hunt that are awesome hunts to hunt big bulls. But the hunting is limited. They don't happen in every unit. And you need to have a muzzleloader or somebody with a muzzleloader that shoots pretty far, because these elk units in some of these muzzleloader opportunity areas are pretty rugged, and they get pretty pounded in rifle season. So muzzleloader season is a good opportunity to get in there before all the elk get shot at. But a great opportunity, guys. Doesn't need a ton of points. A lot of these muzzleloader units are units that you need half the points that you would if you're rifle hunting. It's a little bit more challenging. It's a lot less hunting pressure. It can be a trophy opportunity type hunt. So that is something that if the rifle hunt doesn't appeal to you as much, you want to kind of get out of the pressure. Maybe, don't have as many bonus points. Really focus in on some of the muzzleloader opportunities, which I will go over in future videos. Break down these muzzleloader hunts unit by unit, and how they differ, and the bonus points, and everything like that. So I hope that helps. There's a lot more to talk about, guys, with late rifle elk hunting in Arizona. Fantastic opportunity to shoot a really big bull and on all public land and not have to break the bank as a resident or a non-resident. So we'll talk more about it, guys. Leave me a comment below if there's certain things that you would like me to talk about. And like I said, bonus points, point guard, the draw application. I'm really going to go over and get all this stuff as best I can before the draw comes up, so you guys stay educated and hopefully draw a tag. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys soon.